Dear Elijah and Elena, please remember that you may not always get a second chance. So there's no time like the present to do the right thing. Again, you may not always get a second chance, especially in this life. So there's no time like the present to do the right thing. I say this because I was watching a video the other night. So about watching a bunch of videos, which I'm always doing. And in that video, it was basically edited from an old TV show called Growing Pains. And this show was popular in the 80s, if I remember correctly. Had Kirk Cameron on it, and who's a well-known kind of Christian evangelist, apologist in some sense. And nowadays he's been known for that for probably over 20, 30 years now. I think he became a Christian in the 80s after he became a superstar on that show. And let me just say one thing about those shows back in the day from like the 60s, probably more so the 70s through the 80s, but definitely in the 60s, I think sometimes too in the 50s, but definitely through the 80s, definitely when I was a kid in the 90s, from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to remember loving TGIF, like, ABC. I think it was on ABC or CBS or something. I think it was ABC. Family Matters and Step by Step, Full House even. Those shows had morals. Like, it wasn't just funny all the time, comedy all the time. Like, it really was. And it wasn't preachy necessarily. It was really trying to engage with the culture, what was going on, different issues teenagers, parents, friends, whatever might face. And they dealt with it head on. And they usually were fairly successful. If nothing else, they were at least able to keep the conversation going and have people talk. So anyway, my point being is that with Growing Pains, this particular show, they had the daughter. I can't remember all the names. Growing Pains wasn't my show. I was born in 85, so I really didn't watch it. But in the show, apparently the daughter had went out drinking with a boyfriend, and I guess he was drinking and driving. And I think it was actually played by Matthew Perry, who later on went on the TV show Friends. Anyway, that's not neither here nor there. But he basically, they went and saw him, the family did, and he looked like he was doing well. And they kind of, got on the daughter, really disappointed, as a parent would be disappointed in their child for making that kind of decision to drink and drive. And she was like, she'd never do it again, all this stuff. And they came back home and they were laughing, they think everything was good. And they, Kirk Cameron's character came up, the brother came up and said, hey, I just got a phone call, that guy that you were driving around with, he didn't make it, he died. And she was like, he was not going to do it again, and this, that, and the third, and she was just breaking down in tears. She was like, well, don't joke like that, it's not funny. And he was like, I'm not playing. It looks like he, or not it looks like, but, in the show, the character really did die. I guess he succumbed to his injuries or something to that effect. And she just was brokenhearted over it. And it just really reminded me of how many dumb things I did when I was in college. I won't go through all of them here. Definitely won't put it out over the airwaves, if you will. But just a lot of bad mistakes, and how I was fortunate. I think to myself, how many times I could have got arrested, could have got myself killed, could have gotten in a lot of trouble, could have got myself injured, paralyzed, whatever, from just doing dumb stuff. And when you're young, you're thinking you're gonna live forever. You're thinking that nothing bad is going to happen. You just don't take that kind of stuff into consideration. And I think that's the one thing I want my children to. I hope one day they'll watch this video and I hope to get the chance to talk to them about it. But like I said, that's partially why I started this channel, was just in case if I don't get the chance to be around forever, that they see these videos and think, maybe Dad's right, so maybe I shouldn't try that drug, or maybe I shouldn't try that alcohol before I'm 21, or if I'm gonna try, if I'm gonna drink after I'm 21, then don't drive, get in the car. Don't get in the car. Excuse me, what am I talking about? Don't get in the car and think you're a superwoman or Superman. Walk or make other plans if you might have one or two or what have you. And really, honestly, know your limit, but really know that it is always possible, okay, that you could end up doing something very, very dangerous and harming yourself. May not get that second chance to redo it. Okay, something to think about.